What's going on, everybody? I hope y'all's days are going really well, or nights, whatever time it is for you. For me, it's actually 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed soon, but I have to push out a video. I'm just tired as hell, but I'm gonna get this video done, and it's not a burden. I like doing this. So yeah, these aren't my personal story times, but these are like stories I found online that seem to be really interesting. I will be posting a story time like tomorrow, I think, maybe the day after, about like one of my own or my friend's personal experiences, and it's really good. So you should subscribe and turn on those post notifications if you want to see that one. But without further ado, let's get into these stories. Okay, so these stories are about flight or fight reactions, which is interesting because it's called flight or flight reactions when there's actually three reactions. There's flight, fight, or freeze. So you either like fight the enemy, you run away from the enemy, or you're frozen in fear. So I don't know why it's called flight or fight, maybe just for the rhyme. Alright, so this first one's called camping creep. Let me get my scary story voice. I was camping with a friend in a backwoods camping area. Not very many sites, and they were all super spaced out. We had already been there one night, had the site fully set up. We had been hiking all day. We drove into town to get some food, and when we were driving back to our secluded campsite, we passed a man walking out of the road to our site. We both locked eyes with him, and I got super creeped out. He stared at us like he knew us and hated us, but we had never seen him in our lives. When we got to our tent, we went inside, and everything in there was tossed. Our bags were dumped out, and our clothes were thrown everywhere. We quickly realized both of our hunting knives were gone, along with a bunch of our clothes. We also realized it had to be the guy we saw, and there were no other sites or hiking paths he could have been walking from besides ours. We jumped in the car and drove back towards where we had seen him. He was gone. We drove a bit further and found a common area where other campers gathered. We sprinted down and asked, "Have any of you seen this guy?" and described him. The people at the gathering just stared at us and didn't speak, giving us an even more creeped out feeling. It was that point I told my friend, "We need to leave this place right now." Walking back to the car, we looked over the edge of the guardrail and saw all of our stolen stuff in the woods. We gathered them up, but didn't find either of our knives. Knowing that this guy was still out there with those knives, and that no one around us cared, freaked us out so much, we packed the car up and ended our camping trip early. No way we're staying out in those woods one more night. This next story is called Movie Weirdo. Went to a movie on Halloween when I was in high school with my boyfriend at the time. It was a huge theater where there was a staircase all the way to the top row that opened in the middle of the row, so you could sit on either side of the opening. My boyfriend and I sat on the back row, one side of the opening. We were watching the movie, and around 30 to 40 minutes after the movie started, a guy walked in by himself, wearing a big sweater, and sat on the other side of the opening. He didn't really do anything at first, but he gave me a bad feeling, and I felt uncomfortable. But I continued watching the movie. I noticed the guy seemed really nervous and wasn't paying any attention to the movie. I really couldn't figure out why, but he was stressing me out big time, and I just felt like we had to get the hell out of there. I told my boyfriend that I was probably being silly, but I wanted us to leave. As we were leaving, we informed the staff about the guy just in case. Turns out they had been looking for him, as people said they reported seeing a guy of that description behaving strangely in the parking lot earlier. The police came, and apparently quite a few large hunting knives were hidden under a sweatshirt. Alright, thank you for listening to these two scary fight or flight, whatever order it is, stories. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, feel free to click the dislike button twice. And, yeah, with that being said, I'm just really tired. I stayed up I had 2 hours of sleep last night, so I'm gonna go to bed right now. But, yeah, whatever time it is for you, whatever you're doing, I hope you do a good job in it. Drink water, take care of yourself. And with that being said, I am out. Goodbye.
Yeah, fearless came out the womb, taking breaths. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sleep. Yeah, shit. Roll holla, roll holla.